Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We're going to get into our NXT review in just a bit, but it's that time of year, Larson. That time of year, of course, where we talk about CM Punk returning to the wrestling ring. It seems like this happens quite a bit. And honestly, like most of the time, it's like, yeah, okay, grain of salt. But this time, our good friendo Sean Ross Sapp over there at Fightful is the one breaking this news. What's going on?
Yeah, so if you're not subscribed to Fightful Select, you really should be, because you get huge news like this.
Huge news
that we got today. So according to Fightful, CM Punk is in talks to make his in-ring return, with AEW likely being the destination. Fightful was clear to note that there has been no confirmation of Punk signing a deal with any promotion, much less a timetable for his return. Only that, quote, Punk and a company official have had ongoing conversations about in-ring return. So I know Steve's excited because A, he's a CM Punk fan. B, he predicted that Punk would show up at All Out.
I predicted not just Punk, but Punk and Bryan Danielson and maybe El Generico, because I think
you have to get all three of
contract,
those right?
I'll have to, but it'd be a pretty big deal because I thought this was going to happen in 2020 because he was on Backstage. He even said in an interview that he's feeling it out, but he's obviously been very careful about how, when, where, why he's made his return. And there was also a report that Triple H was in contact with him a year ago or so when they were trying to hoard all the talent from AEW. Yeah. And evidently that didn't work out. I hope this does work out because I think it'll be very exciting. It'll be excellent for our business. For me as a fan of CM Punk in the ring, it'll be very exciting. And yeah, I don't see any downside to this. I think it's pretty awesome, but mainly because I predicted at the beginning of the year.
All right. Did you know I got 3 of my predictions at the beginning of the year right already?
That's great, man. That's awesome.
So
anyways,
you take your 1. I'll take my 3.
Okay. What's your take on this? You excited to see CM Punk back if this happens?
Yeah, sure. I guess. Yeah. I mean, Punk's fine and all. Like, he's a good wrestler, or was.
You touched him once. Remember, you touched him once.
Yeah, he ran up in Sacramento and I touched his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before he elbowed some guy in the face.
Yeah, imagine. Oh boy, neither of us knew that was a possibility. I'm not sure if you would have reached out a foot because he was like right in your business there. He was invading your personal space.
Who, CM Punk? No, he just ran up the aisle. He just ran up the aisle.
No, when you touched him. When you touched him.
No, he was running up and I just patted him on the shoulder. That's it.
Oh, okay, whatever. Anyways,
no, he wasn't in my business. No, not at all.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, in terms of generating enthusiasm and excitement in the wrestling world, this is great because it's something that is always good for business. And if AEW can sign him to a deal, give us some of these dream matches, him versus Kenny, of course, the match everybody wants to see, CM Punk versus Cody, right? Yeah.
No,
not at all.
No,
but all the other dream matches, yes.
No, but that's definitely a promo I want to see. I don't really care about them wrestling, but CM Punk coming out and cutting a promo on Cody Island is 1,000% something I'd love to see. Yes.
Okay. All right. Very well. So it's good for business, not just AEW, but I think the business overall. Maybe Punk going to AEW will give WB a little bit of kick in the pants to improve their product. I know they're apparently all the good stuff, but is about to start coming out now that they're back on the road. I need to see that. Raw stuff happened, but as a situation while I was watching Raw, thinking, yeah, maybe this could have been done better. But as the weeks and months go on, back on the road, maybe they'll bring their A game creatively. But anyways, if AEW is up in their game on a regular basis, it could hopefully force WB's hand to actually put more focus on decent creative.
Well, there's a history of that obviously with the Monday Night Wars when WWE was getting their ass kicked, they decided to actually put out good stuff and build stars for the future. And yeah, that's something that we're always looking forward to. Hopefully WWE can bring their A game and not do confusing things like the Karrion Kross mess. So yeah, this is really cool. I hope it does happen, just because I don't see any downsides to it. It'll reinvigorate, the business in general, our business, internet wrestling's business, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it'd be really, really cool. So yeah,
it could
shout
be cool,
out to Sean Ross Sapp for getting the scoops.
Yeah. Yes, Sean is great.
Anyways, let's jump into this NXT. I mean, I was just really curious about NXT to see Karrion Kross, and if he was gonna, show up, if he was gonna show his face. He didn't show his face in the Capitol Wrestling Center.
No, he barely showed up at all. It was just the very end, like the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, they kayfabed his Raw appearance. Joe
didn't mention his loss in 2 minutes though.
He said Joe called it. He referenced the field trip he took to Raw. And then at the end, Kross was like, "This belt means I can go wherever I want, whenever I want." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, under WWE's umbrella, yes, that is totally true." But
yeah, you can't show up in a Ring of Honor show.
Probably not. And he lays out an old man. I mean, he got beat by Jeff Hardy, a guy who got beat by Veer Shanky on Main Event last week. So now a safe target for him. 50-plus-year-old man, William Regal.
Yeah. Doesn't exactly help Kross look any tougher, though.
Not really, no.
No, not at all.
No. Completely not. No. Ran away from Samoa Joe and his challenger.
If anything, it looks like, well, I failed in my challenge to beat Jeff Hardy, a man who's in his probably late 40s.
Yeah.
Lost in under 2 minutes. And now I'm coming to NXT to take out my frustrations on a 50-plus-year-old man who has, like, history issues, or injury history.
Yeah.
Despite his reputation as a wrestler being a real tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, injuries forced him to retire. He probably saw him as an easy target. Again, does not make Karrion Kross look tough or really threatening or intimidating by any stretch of the imagination.
Probably
he can snarl and whatnot all he wants.
It's probably a sneak attack.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. On an old man. Kross wearing his best, JCPenney suit, his CarMax Challenger. The guy, he's stinking up that NXT title, man. I need Joe to get that thing off him ASAP. There was, beyond that, I mean, NXT was fine. It was sort of a standard episode.
Yeah, that was all right.
Not a ton happened. There was kind of a scary spot. I think the highlight for me was probably the Hit Row Legato stuff. I think Swerve is very quickly, number one, they need to get out of the Capitol Wrestling Center. I feel like already that crowd is already too complacent and they don't appreciate what they have in front of them. And I kind of feel like sometimes that was the problem with Full Sail, is that on one hand they were very appreciative in that it was like their home. And they would all have this big sense of community, but at the other hand, there isn't like the level of excitement. There was like one guy. I don't know why this stood out to me, but while Santos Escobar was delivering his promo, there was one guy, and you could just hear him. One guy, Hit Row. It's like, shut up, please, just shut up. I know you're trying to do the taunting the heel, but you're just one guy in a crowd of like 50 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's underwhelming. I wish they'd go on the road. You book smaller venues, 2,000. You'll have hot crowds every single week. I don't know. That bugs the crap out of me. But things are, And then there was kind of a scary spot during the women's match, which really kind of freaked me out. Raquel Gonzalez dropped sort of like a twisting Vader bomb. On Xia Li. Yeah. And it looked like she busted her ribs or something. And they had to stop. They had to pause the match and let her get her wind back. And then they had to do a finish. And so they did the only finish that they could do, because Raquel Gonzalez has that one finishing move, and it's let's drop somebody from 8 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Midsection, I know.
And she did it, and you could tell it sucked. But Raquel Gonzalez comes out with the pin, and it seems like, given the promo that Raquel Gonzalez dropped last night, Dakota Kai that turn might happen sooner than later.
Oh yeah, because Dakota Kai looked really put off by Raquel saying after she beats Xia Li that she pretty much cleared out the division.
Well, she said there's nobody left, and so Dakota Kai, look put out. So like, if she's saying there's nobody left, Dakota Kai is going to be the obvious next one. But Joe was really great last night, and all he really did was wait around for Kross. So I'm really excited about the prospect of him maybe taking that title off Kross and being the new face of NXT. Get him up here on that banner of ours here on the YouTube version of the show.
That'd be great.
Let's
dive into it.
We'll dive into it.
Sure.
Samoa Joe starts things off. He comes out with a head full of steam. He says, "Tick-tock, guess who's come to smash your clock?" And Regal comes running down and says, Joe, this is not what I wanted. Certainly not what I had in mind. When you came back to NXT, you knew what I had in mind. You cannot be calling out superstars." And Joe says, "If I was provoked, I could, and I was provoked." And he says, "Kross put his hands on you in your capacity as an NXT ref, Joe, not NXT management." Joe says, "Semantics. You come at me with semantics." He says, "Kross is out of control. He needs to be put down." He said, "Did you know about his field trip to Raw? He's out of control, and I'm here to put him under control." And Regal says, "Kross is on his way here, Joe, and we will solve this peacefully. Don't say another word unless it's the right one." And he says, "Out of respect for you, Regal, I can guarantee that tonight will be the end of this, but I cannot guarantee it will end peacefully, and someone tonight is going teep-a-teeps. They're going to go to sleep."
Yep.
I thought it was a really good scene. These guys have excellent chemistry.
They do. Let's take a quick break here to get a word in from the sponsor of today's show, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it can be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed. You'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular weekly phone or video sessions. They've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from the sponsor of today's show, Amazon Music. Since all the friendos out there are listening to this show, it's safe to assume that you love listening to podcasts, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll find tons of podcasts, including this one, Going In Raw, on Amazon Music.
Yeah, that's right. Amazon Music has more than 10 million free podcasts to listen to, but that's not all. They also have thousands of music stations and great playlists to stream for free.
Yeah, man, if you're like Larson and love your music on demand and ad-free, you got to give Amazon Music Unlimited a try. It gives you unlimited access to a lot of songs, and I mean a lot of songs, like 75 million songs, as well as podcasts, music videos. Remember music videos, Steve?
Oh, they're great.
Great. It's so much more.
Yeah, and with Amazon Music Unlimited, you can listen to any song anywhere, whether it be in the car, walking your dog, doing wind sprints, anywhere, offline, and with unlimited skips.
Or you can listen to podcasts like Going In Raw, like I do, while I'm pumping iron in the garage. Yes, I listen to our show while I lift weights in the garage. So if you've never tried Amazon Music Unlimited, now is a great time. For a limited time, new customers can try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 30 days. No credit card required. Just go to amazon.com/GIR.
That's amazon.com/GIR to try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 30 days. Amazon.com/GIR. Renews automatically. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
We get a Xia Li promo next. She calls tonight the most important match for her career. She's going to be the new champ. She plans to do to Raquel what she did to Mercedes. After that, we get Diamond Mine, Tyler Rust, and Roderick Strong taking on Bobby Fish and KUSHIDA. KUSHIDA and Bob Fish attack Diamond Mine before the match begins during their entrance. Then we go to commercial, come back. Kushida's looking for an arm wringer on Roddy Strong. Roderick reverses that into a backbreaker. That was a great reversal. So Dynamite assumes control till Kushida hits Rust Strong with the double handspring elbow. Fish is in. Eventually, he gets isolated by Dynamite too. The finish saw where was I here? Kushida is looking for a hoverboard lock. Rust counters with an ankle lock. Kushida escapes that. Rust hits his finish. Bob Fish comes in to break up that pin. He takes out Strong and himself. They both tumble to the floor. And then Kushida hits a top rope knee on Rust's arm. Follows that with a penalty kick on said arm. He sinks in the hoverboard lock. And Rust pretty much taps out immediately.
Man, I don't know if I should spend the extra 10 minutes that would be required to do this, but Edub here in our Twitch chat says, until Joe takes the title from Kross, you guys should put the NXT Championship on Jeff Hardy on our banner up here. I might do that, man. I'm pretty sure it's an easy swap. I might just do that.
That'd be pretty funny.
That'd be great. So, yeah, that was a good match. After that, Cameron Grimes and LA Knight pull up. Of course, Grimes in full Butler mode, driving LA Knight. Grimes gets out of the car, slams the car door, and he's still having a good time with his Butler stuff, trying to take his job seriously, but still have fun with it. Knight's being a dick, of course. And he opens up the trunk, and Grimes is tasked with taking LA Knight's 4 clearly empty bags out of the trunk. Mm-hmm. And he's fumbling with them like a fool. Drake Maverick comes out, and he's like, whoa, hey, dude, here, let me help you out. And LA's like, oh, what? No, don't help him with that. That's my butler. What is it? Bring your idiot to work day. Who brought you? Yeah. And then Drake Maverick's like, well, obviously he needs help if he's hanging out with you. And he's like, oh, wow, we're going to have a match tonight. And he's like, okay. After that, we had Frankie Monet versus JC Jayne. Monet
they announced the next takeover officially.
Oh, yeah.
August 22nd. There's an Odyssey Jones video package, too. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even see that. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
what was that like? That guy looks great, by the way.
Yeah, he does.
That match of his was pretty darn good.
Yeah, like an introductory thing. So I think this is his first match on NXT proper. I think he had his qualifying match on 205 Live. So.
Yeah, right. That's cool. I missed that. And the takeover. Any indication on the takeover thing? They haven't said it's. Is that just going to be
apart from the date? No, I don't believe they mentioned anything about where it's going to be.
They need to get this shit on the road, man. Get them in front of some real fans. Anyway, so Frankie Monet versus JC Jayne. The most noteworthy thing here is Mandy Rose came out in the middle of the match and just sort of laid on commentary desk.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess they said scout what was going on. I don't know. She seemed to be more of a nuisance than anything. I'm not sure Mandy Rose is much of an addition to NXT, but give it time, maybe it'll get better.
Yeah.
Anyways, Monet handles Jayne pretty quick. JC Jayne gets some offense in. She looked pretty good. She ends up hitting a neck breaker, but Monet finishes her with a glam slam for the win, and then Mandy just sort of quantum leaps out. Even Wade Barrett was like, "Oh, where did she go?
She was literally sitting in front of Wade Barrett.
You couldn't." He said, "I can't even see what's going on," and then she was
gone. Raw gates out of there.
That dude does not pay attention.
No. After that, we got a Way interview from earlier today. Gargano's asked about how he's been dealing with his loss against Kross last week. John says he's been doing better. And Theory says, yeah, I haven't slept in weeks. And then Gargano says, well, the match was last week. That whatever you're dealing with is unrelated. Kyle O'Reilly walks in. He tells Austin Theory he heard what he said about him. And Gargano says, well, I didn't say anything about you. And Kyle O'Reilly says, no, not you. This bonehead over here, talking about Theory, says something about him sitting down and crying to Wade Barrett. Well, guess what? I'm in a fighting mood. Maybe we should square off tonight. Theory is like, are you challenging me? And Kyle O'Reilly says, wow, you are thick. Yes, I'm challenging you to a match tonight. And Theory says, you're on. And then so Kyle O'Reilly walks out. Gargano tells Theory, you got to do this one yourself. Last week I was alone in my match. And, you want to be like Papa John, right? You want to do things like Papa John does, right? And Austin Theory's, yeah. Well, you're on your own this week.
You're on your own. And he slaps him on the ass. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I cannot get into anything Kyle O'Reilly does. It's even affecting how I consider him. Like, he's a phenomenal wrestler.
He's a very good wrestler.
Phenomenal. I can't stand whenever he opens his mouth, though. It's so obnoxious. Like, he's trying to be cool, but it's just, dude, dial it down a notch. Starting to get that go away heat, man.
Oof.
And he's probably going to end up winning that rubber match with Cole, too, which bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Because this week he found his edge. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second. First, there was a Bronson Reed interview where he basically says, I want to fight harder now. I want to fight the best. I shut down Cole last week. I'll do the same next week because they're going to have a match.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we had...
Yes, Kyle O'Reilly versus Austin Theory. I thought this was fun. Austin Theory talking a lot of trash.
It's a really good match.
Telling Kyle O'Reilly, hey, I want you to go cry to Wade Barrett some more. Called him a crybaby repeatedly towards the end here. So Austin Theory's out on the floor. He has the advantage. So he takes the top set of ring steps off and moves them, kind of like towards the middle of the ring. And I guess now that Kyle O'Reilly sees ring steps, it just raises his blood pressure,
he snaps.
His intensity. I guess the commentary is trying to make the point, oh, look, that's like what happened to him when Adam Cole hit him with a brain buster on the ring steps and gave him a neck injury. And so he basically loses his mind and makes this face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then beats the hell out of Austin Theory, rams his head into the ring steps a bunch, some ground and pound back in the ring, some Kawada kicks, an axe kick, a forearm, a running knee, a top rope knee to Theory's leg, and then follows that with a heel hook, and Theory taps out. It was a good match. He had a ton of time.
It was a good match, but yeah, the storytelling was a bit on the nose. Oh, look at that. He's found his edge. Look at that. Oh, he's found his killer instinct. Like, isn't there more of a process than just like, I saw steel steps. I found my edge again.
It's one of these. He did
yeah.
this.
Well, I mean, at least with Ilya, like, it wasn't so... It was like he got chopped on the back and then like something happens and the commentary in UK, they were like witnessing it with us. They weren't telling us what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
it was like, oh.
Well, the chop in the back and whatnot is leading to his loss is kind of it's a bit of humiliation for Ilya because he saw himself as the man to dethrone Walter. It didn't happen. He felt humiliated and kind of like the single incident that encapsulates all that is getting chopped in the back. So whenever he gets hit in the back, it reignites that sense of humiliation, of anger, frustration. Then he takes it out on his opponent. But that's all. That groundwork's all been laid.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I feel like this is like like last week. I got to find that killer instinct again. He sees ring steps and you're like, okay, that's the killer instinct.
Yeah.
As opposed to really setting that up for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
It's like we had a good idea in UK with Ilya. Let's just do that with Kyle.
Let's do like the copy paste, but it's like the Cliff Notes version. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really into it. I'm just not into it. And I just love Austin Theory these days.
Yeah,
I think he's terrific, and I really hope that they find. I see him, especially with this week. What happens a little bit later. They're adding dimension to his character, and that promo that was on the .com last week. It's like he's not just dullard guy. They're adding layers to him. They're adding dimension to him, and I hope that all that isn't wiped away when he ends up on main roster.
Which, based on what happened tonight, could be happening pretty soon.
It could, hopefully he is savvy enough to figure out how to grow on his own on main roster when he gets there, because he's going to have to. Like, that's just how it is. Like, Cena found his thing, he was close to quitting or whatever, or he thought he was going to get laid off, and then he didn't. I think he was told he was going to, and then they didn't. And then he found the rapping thing. And I hope Austin Theory is able to withstand whatever happens to him on main roster, and they don't let him just be smiling babyface, because the kid obviously has tons of ingredients. It's just if they allow him to put them together, he's going to go so damn far.
Yeah.
He's going to go so damn. And I didn't see it before on main roster, and it took him being with Gargano and them to unlock and to figure out what it was.
Yeah, to find the character and to really inhabit that character.
Yeah.
Like Triple H apparently in an interview recently says with Roman Reigns, he doesn't have to think about the character. He just does it.
Yeah.
It's so instinctive at this point that he doesn't have to think about the process of what this character would do or say in the situation. It just happens. It's second nature at this point. You get enough reps, you feel comfortable enough with the character, that can happen. I don't know if Theory's quite to that point yet, but you could see it,
Yeah.
You definitely see it. After that, we had a Raquel Gonzalez interview. She responded to Mackenzie's first question saying, everybody's been saying they've been going to beat me for the title. And look, even you, Mackenzie, says, what would happen if Ember beat you? But guess what happened? I won. And Dakota Kai steps in and says after she beat Ember last week, Xia Li walked in and stole her spotlight. And this week she's going to pay for it. Raquel says Zaya's kicks don't scare her. Her bodyguard doesn't scare her. Her friend who sits up on the stage doesn't scare her. And after she beats Xia, there'll be nobody left. And
you see Dakota go like, she's coming after you. Raquel is such a good promo. She's so genuine. She's very like, I don't know. She doesn't come across as pro wrestler at all. Like she just comes across as like an actual competitor, like a person, you know. It's pretty refreshing. After that, we had what was supposed to be a Mariachi Madness musical, which was Legato's answer to the championship cipher. But before it even gets started, Larson, Santos dismisses the mariachis. Says, "I don't need you tonight. I was gonna give you a taste of the best musical heritage mariachi, but I changed my mind. I'm not gonna lower myself to entertain you." He says, "You're not worth it. I'm not going to do the hit row thing, vomit a few lines, embarrass myself and my hermanos. What is this? The battle of styles? My style is being the true campeon." He says, "So hit row, I'm going to take that North American title and I'm going to put it right up there with blood, tradition, heritage, familia," and then hit row interrupt. B-Fab calls mariachi music trash, which is, whoa. They talk a bunch of trash. Swerve says, "Last year it took the entire Legato to keep me from getting your title, so I formed my own group." And Santos says, "I'm going to take your title back to Mexico." Hit row get on the apron. Santos, they get in. Santos sends Wild and Raul at hit row. Him and Swerve have a face-off. They go at it. He comes up he comes upon the guitar that's still in the corner, and as he takes a swing, or he's about to take a swing, B-Fab takes it from him. Swerve gets his hands on the guitar, swings and misses Santos. He makes an escape. Wild tries to sneak attack Swerve, but he gets caught and then super kicked from Adonis. And then Swerve breaks that guitar over Wild's back and sends Legado running.
Yep. Afterwards, we have the way they're backstage arguing. Gargano's telling them all to calm down. Candice says it's been awful lately. They've lost the tag titles. Gargano has lost Kross. He's like, "You don't have to bring that up." And then she asks Theory why he's picking fights with people he can't beat. And then Indy says, "You got to stop. You're being hard on all of us. It's okay if he wants to kiss Dexter. Let him kiss Dexter."
They're like, "What?"
And then Candice goes, "I'm calling a therapist." Gargano says no, tells Indy that they're her family. And that Theory just kind of said to himself, says, "Yeah, this family is falling apart." And he grabs his gear and he looks for the no-look high five. But John's too busy arguing with Candice and Indy. He kind of sighs, bit deflated, and walks out.
It's gonna make me so sad if he leaves.
I know.
So sad. He's so good there.
I know it's gonna be a bummer.
I wonder, man. Yeah. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't get called up.
Me too.
You know, I generally don't mind when people get called up. I'm not like, oh, they're gonna ruin him, even though I know they're going to. But with Theory, there's so much they can do with him in NXT with the right creative. There's
so
like
he's
much.
Just really getting his feet under him.
I know. When he starts putting it together as a character in the ring and starts winning, and then him and Gargano have a takeover match, and it's like a 5.5-star match. Oh man,
Real like to see those things.
Why can't we have good things?
I don't know. So after that, we had Samoa Joe and Regal backstage. Regal tells him that Kross will in fact be in the building tonight, and asks Joe to calm down. Joe says, "I respect you, but I'm going to be the first man that greets Kross when he gets here." And Regal he's like, "Joe, just do it peacefully, please. He doesn't want any trouble. He doesn't want any fighting. No violence. No chaos."
I like how Regal had like 2 weeks of ulcer-free NXT.
2 weeks of relative peace, I know.
Right. Like pretty much no time at all.
None.
After that, we had Andre Chase, a.k.a. my career side character, versus Odyssey Jones, who is huge and will probably go to main roster like immediately. Because
he might win this tournament, get his title shot, and then go to main roster.
Dude, him versus Duke Hudson, I don't know. Did they ever release brackets for this damn tournament?
Let me double check.
So we know like who
is on
could
what side
potentially
of the tournament.
face whom?
That's a good point.
It's like, come on. Yeah, that Odyssey dude, he's huge. He is massive.
He moves really well, though.
He moves great. Yeah, it's not like a Moss
well.
Huge where like he doesn't move. This dude moves. Chase does a pretty good job trying to chop him down. There was that crossbody to the outside where he almost fell on his head, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But they're able to recover from that. Chase runs Odyssey into the post, tries for a pin in the ring. After that, only gets 2. He hits a moonsault for 2. And then Jones hits like a pop-up Uranagi type thing. How did you describe that finisher of his?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was pretty awesome, yeah. Wow. Go ahead.
So, never mind. I was trying to speculate on the matchups, but it's not accurate.
So this has got to be Duke Hudson versus, because Freedom KME here in chat says there was a YouTube video of Hudson facing off with Odyssey on YouTube after this match. So that's got to be they got to be setting up that final. That's so weird that they don't have the brackets.
Yeah, there's no brackets yet because it was Hudson versus Jiro, right?
Yes, correct.
And now we've had Odyssey versus Chase.
Yes.
And so we still need to have Trey Baxter, Carmelo Hayes, Joe Gacy, and Josh Briggs. They haven't had their first round matches yet, right?
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully they release a bracket. This was really clever. So MSK have an interview. They're asked, what does the future hold for you? And he says, we're looking for our next competitors. And then Mackenzie says, you never told us what MSK stands for. And they said, oh, man, yeah, easy. All right, picture it. Dayton, Ohio, 2015. And then the feed cuts out, and we get Dirty Imperium. And they interrupt with a video. They sort of run down the tag division. They run down MSK. And Marcel Bartel says, we are here to protect the purity of our sport by any means necessary. And then the video cuts out, and MSK are just finishing their story. And that's why we're MSK. And they're like, wow, that's great. So pretty clever. I like that. Yeah, I like that stuff.
We'll never know. We get a Peter Dune, Oney Lorcan promo. Pete Dunne's been saying, says, we've been begging for months. He's been begging for months. Sorry for anyone to prove themselves that they're a better technical wrestler than he is. And finally, Ciampa and Thatcher stepped up. And if they really think they're tougher than them, step up and let's have a scrap next week. And then Oney pretty much reiterates what Pete Dunne said. He says, yeah, really, let's scrap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These guys have zero chemistry.
Like I don't know why they're bothering with them as a tag team anymore. Like Pete Dunne should be doing like 5 other things.
I don't know why they. I mean, look, I'm all in favor of getting Oney Lorcan screen time because I feel like he wouldn't have any if it wasn't for Pete Dunne. Mm-hmm. But there's no reason for them to be together at all.
None.
They have like zero chemistry. After that, we had LA Knight versus Drake Maverick. LA Knight was more concerned with Cameron Grimes showing off the $1 million title.
Holding up that title, I know.
And holding it up really high than he was winning the match. At one point, Knight pretty much dominates this match, but then he gets super distracted because Grimes keeps on putting the title down. So Grimes comes around to like the commentary area and he sort of puts the title on the apron. He just starts looking around and stuff. And so Knight notices this. He goes over because he had just like laid out Maverick. And he goes over to Grimes. He's like, hey, yeah, put that, hold it high, hold it really high. And you know what's going to happen because he's like through the ropes and he's like, get him to hold it high. And the title's right in front of his face and Grimes is holding it. And then Maverick comes from behind, drop kicks him in the butt so that his head hits the title. And then he rebounds back. Maverick rolls him up and gets the win. Mm-hmm. So Maverick runs over to Grimes where he is, and he's like celebrating, saying, hey, look what I did, And Grimes is like, get out of here. What are you doing? Run away. Yeah. Maverick tries to run away, but it's too late. Knight attacks him. Grimes gets in, pulls him off, says, dude, the match is over. Stop doing that. And then Knight says, you're my butler. You got to do whatever I say, dummy. Yeah. And he insists that Grimes punches Maverick. Does something to him. He's like, I don't care what you do. You can punch him. You can kick him, but you're going to do it. You need to strike him. And so he holds him up, and Grimes doesn't like to do it, but he does it because he's a man of his word, and Knight is holding him to that, and the crowd instantly turns on Grimes. Cameron sucks. And Grimes is checking on Maverick as Knight is very happy with himself. So I like this. Is pretty entertaining stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty decent stuff. We go to the parking lot. A Dodge Challenger shows up. Joe sprints right over, pulls the driver out. It must be like a valet or something. And Joe says, where is he? Where's Kross? and the valet, I think he said, he got out in the front of the CWC, so he's not in that part of the parking lot.
Ew.
So then Joe storms off,
Yeah.
and then we get Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez. Early on, Raquel is using her strength advantage to control the match, and then at one point she lawn darts Xia Li into the ring post, is looking for a boot against the ring post. Xia evades that and starts slamming Raquel's leg against the post repeatedly, pushes her on the ring steps, and then for a pretty protracted stretch, focuses her offense on Raquel's leg. At one point, locking on a half crab. Raquel escapes that, hits a fall-away slam, clothesline, dropkick, gets a 2 count. She goes for a finish. Xia escapes that, rolls her up, gets a 2, another roll up, another 2. She hits a few more kicks, another 2. She goes for another kick. Raquel catches that, hits a spine buster, and then does kind of like the twisting inverted Vader bomb thing. That gets her a 2 count, but then Xia Li is obviously hurt. Ref's checking on her. Tells Raquel to stay back. Trainers come out to check on her. They show a couple replays. The match then continues, and Raquel just hits her finish to get the win. As Raquel and Dakota celebrate in the ramp, Joe just marches on right past them, hits the ring, calls out Kross, says tonight Kross will learn that there will be a reckoning, tells him to bring his ass out here so he can stomp it all over the arena. And then Kross shows up on the Tron, tells Joe this isn't the same world he walked away from. This is Kross's world now. He's the way of the future. The NXT title means he can go wherever he wants. He can do whatever he wants.
He can lose to whoever he wants.
Apparently. He can hurt anybody he wants. For example, the camera pans down, and there's Regal laying at his feet. And Joe just sprints out of the ring. And then Kross asks Joe, if you feel like you're really in control, who provoked who? And then he walks off, gets in his car, and drives off as Joe is running out to the parking lot.
It'd be cool if they had like a little chase where Joe is like running after the challenger, but he's oddly really fast.
Yeah, no.
It's like the Terminator.
It's like a Terminator 2, yeah.
How terrifying is
where he's running like this. Robert Patrick.
It was like he would have his hands open like this.
Yeah. But it's all very mechanical. It makes sense. He's a robot, you know?
He's a robot. The guy's a robot. So the good thing is, again, the benefits of getting Fightful Select. We got an update on Xia Li. For those asking about Xia Li, we were told she appeared okay backstage after NXT. She had a rough spot that looked like it injured her ribs. That was a freaky spot.
Yeah,
when you're dealing with shit near your lungs,
you don't want to puncture lung. No.
Yeah, right.
No, you don't want that.
Yeah, bad. But yes. But yeah. So let's go ahead and answer some questions. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, should I mention this ahead of the show? Tomorrow, the numbers don't lie. Episode 2, Sid. That's right. We're going to apply our going in raw math.
Can't wait.
On Sid. And it's exclusive to patrons, $5 and up, Twitch subs, and YouTube channel members. So if you're watching us on YouTube, click join and pay attention to that community tab. You can vote. If you're joining us live on Twitch, you can vote. And on the Patreon as well, you can vote. And you can watch live as we dissect. We take a look at the numbers. We put them all together. And we see Sid is a fascinating case. His numbers, I imagine, are probably all over the place. Do the results so far reflect that as well?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You answered a few questions.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Awkward Vegas here with the sub 11 months says, hey, happy 11 months, friendos. Here's to 11 more. Thank you so much. Awkward Vegas.
Thank you very much. Let's see here. Should Ciampa and Thatcher fight Dunn and Lorcan in a fight pit? Yes, absolutely. I think that'd be great for all those guys.
I think that would be great. Frederick the Dino says here that Odyssey Jones has already had a dark match a few weeks ago on SmackDown.
I think I remember that
too.
being the case. Wolfpack for life. What are other wrestling traditions like wrestlers wiping their feet before entering the ring? My favorite was Ken Shamrock coming to the base of the steel steps. Bah!
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
What are
of course, back in the Undisputed Era days, Adam Cole pointed himself. Boom.
There's that. There is... my favorite is just Stone Cold Steve Austin walking down the ramp, just running his mouth and never knowing what he was saying. And he brought that up on Broken Skull once, and he just said, "Yeah, no, I used to walk down the ramp. I just used to be hyping myself up saying I'm the baddest motherfucker there is." I'm like, man, I wish at some point they had a mic on him, because him talking about, "Oh man, look at me, I'm the baddest motherfucker there is. Look at all these fucking people here to see me, Stone Cold Steve Austin." Oh yeah, Triple H spitting water. You can't do that anymore.
No. Jorge D, who in Imperium learned hacking skills? Was it Walter himself, or did they hire someone? If so, who? I mean, there's a Walter hologram already, so I'm guessing Walter
is
downtime is getting up to date on the newest technology.
That guy was an early STEM adopter. He was all about that. He's like, "Look, I create holograms of myself. I can hack into any TV production. I used to listen to Radio Berlin back in my days in Austria." Let's see here. Wolfpack Moses opposes. How long do you see Kross keeping the title? Till August, 22nd, yeah.
22nd. RTG Power Rank thinks Kross does a little less confidently now in kayfabe.
Oh, golly. Do you think he has a hard time getting it up since Monday night? Scarlett, I'm sorry. This never happened before. Monday night was supposed to be a huge sex rituals, big sex celebration with
Didn't
him
happen.
at the centerpiece.
Didn't happen.
He's like, "Scarlett, I don't know what happened. Boy, that loss really, really affected me."
And then when it finally does happen after about 100 seconds.
Yeah, it's the length of the match. Oh, that's rough, dude. I didn't think you'd join me on that one, but you did. Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. That's good. He says, "Looks like it's going to have to be a sex neutral summer, Scarlett."
Till I get that win back.
Oh, I'm dead. That's great.
White Brady, who should Raquel drop the belt to, and why is it Saray?
Oh, what a great suggestion.
Oh, Gareth has a good question here. If you could choose any NXT superstar to be your personal butler, who would it be?
Oh, man. Kross.
Yeah, say Kross too.
Oh, man. He'd be a great butler. Let's see here. Okay, based on Jay Singh. Based on what you said yesterday about NXT not really preparing people for main roster, should it not just become its own thing already? Yeah. No, it should.
Totally should.
It should.
I kind of feel like it's in this weird limbo of it kind of being its own thing until Vince gets the itch that he wants to bring some new faces on the roster.
It's a mess, dude. It's a mess.
It really is.
There's obviously
they got to decide what it's going to be.
Doesn't have its own autonomy. But then you know what's funny is that it's so reflected in Triple H being defensive about it in his media call, because he talked about that. He was like, I don't know why people are so concerned with what is it? It's his own thing. Is it developmental? Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I get it's kind of out of nowhere that he said that too.
I know.
It's like that's on his mind
about it.
because he doesn't know what it's supposed to be because it changes day to day.
Yep.
Oh, God. To think about how successful the Survivor Series invasion shit was, and and immediately after that, once they got their USA nut, they're done.
Brush it aside. I know. Mm-hmm. I know. Shane's birthday tweet: if Joe was to win the NXT title, who would eventually take it off him? Pete Dunne. Give that belt to Pete Dunne.
Yeah, I think they did like a network exclusive thing with Joe and Dunne. Again, they had a shrug off or whatever it was. Dunne is a great answer. Or Kevin Owens. Did they ever? Owens and Joe never had a thing in NXT, did they?
Not in NXT, no.
Right.
They may have on the main roster, but not in NXT.
This is a good question. Alex Foster.
I mean, they did have a match in NXT.
Did they?
On that. They might have.
What was the lineage there? It was Joe took it off Finn and Shinsuke took it off Joe, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think if Joe and Kevin Owens may have had a match before Owens went to main roster.
Well, you'll know if you type in KO versus Joe, and then you get like a 2K16 thing.
Yeah, Samoa Joe versus Kevin Owens, NXT June 17th, 2015.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's real because it was on WWE's YouTube.
Okay, that makes sense. How long does... Well, it's not going to be the entire match, I would
It's
think.
not the whole match. It's like a 2.5 minute clip.
Okay. Alex
Oh,
Foster.
it's when Owens was champion. Okay.
Oh, okay. Alex Foster. If you guys were in the way, what would Johnny and Candice get mad at you for constantly?
Like probably just farting and laughing about it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, though. I would say maybe, like, if we're on the road, like, changing the radio. Because given their theme music, I don't know if we'd be on the same page musically speaking. And I'd always be changing that. If I did something that was annoying, it'd be that. Although I feel bad because, like, I will give Alabama my phone in the car to change whatever song she wants. And I never did that with my stepkids. Oh, man. I spoiled the hell out of those stepkids, though. Let's see here. Blake Whitehouse is the last one I got on Patreon. Right. Would you be on board with a short NXT championship reign by Jeff Hardy in any way, shape, or form? Yeah, if he can. Well, number one, he is the rightful
he should
owner.
Be number one contender, yeah.
He should be. Yeah, that was a championship contender match, number one.
Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah, no, I think that a run in NXT with like a legend like Jeff Hardy, who really was so influential with the type of wrestling we see in NXT, absolutely.
I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Absolutely, that'd be terrific.
That'd be pretty awesome. Dark Dank Lucha, do you think Vince and company saw Kross in his dark match, saw the error in their ways, and got buyer's remorse, or in his ways? Do you think they got buyer's remorse, essentially?
On Kross?
Yeah.
I don't know. I do not know. If they had buyer's remorse, like, wouldn't they have just taken the title off him at this point?
Unless they're just seeing through the story they laid the groundwork for. I don't know. It's all very strange.
It is very strange. And it's funny because, like, it's easy to look at Raw, but it's like also just on NXT. And the idea that Vince, the Raw thing was Vince seeing, hey, let's see if this guy can survive some curveballs thrown at him, is totally a possibility.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Triple H is not foreign to that concept either. I super believe that WrestleMania 32 was Triple H trying to get Roman to bring his A game to get over that hump of Triple H crotch chopping. Because Triple H is doing everything he can to get over in that match with the crowd. And it always felt to me like the idea was, hey, if this guy's going to be the face of the company, he's going to need to learn how to swim without, with some actual competition.
Yeah. Yeah, could be. Dia Ladre, did you guys hear that 2K22 is sponsoring SummerSlam? I mean, they got high hopes for that game.
Hey, we're open for business. We're open for business, Larson. Bring us out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already going to be there. But if they're if they're still sponsoring him at the Survivor Series,
well, the game will probably be out before then.
Usually
it's October when it comes out.
I think they do a little promotion afterwards, though. After the game comes out.
Rocco says, you guys in the way would get along great because you all clown on Kross the whole time.
I know, right? I'd be like, yeah, look at his footwork. And they're like, what do you know about footwork? I'm like, I just wanted to talk shit, too.
I want to fit in.
I want to fit in.
I want to fit in.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow, of course, for Friendo Club TV's Numbers Don't Lie. And tonight for AEW Fyter Fest Night 2. So that should be a lot of fun. What's our AEW preview? What's on Fyter Fest Night 2? What's the main event? I didn't even
look it up yet. I'll have to look it up.
Is there a Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker? Is that happening?
Yeah,
tonight?
I think that's tonight. Yeah, that's tonight.
That's
happening. See what else. We got
Miro versus somebody.
It's Mox versus Archer in the Texas Death Match for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
It's Jericho versus Shawn Spears, the first labor of Jericho.
Oh yeah, where Spears can have a chair and Jericho can't.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy versus the Blade.
Mm-hmm.
This one was just announced, I believe. Kazarian versus Doc Gallows.
Ooh, Elite Hunter.
Sting versus Wheeler Yuta. Sorry, did I say Sting? Darby Allin.
Oh, that'd have been. I was like, whoa, wait, hold on.
I said Darby Allin with Sting versus Wheeler Yuta.
I gotta wash this. I can't wear shirts unless I wash them first, but I'm gonna be wearing that, man. If we go to,
you have time to wash it.
If we go to All Out, I'm gonna be busting this out. Believe that.
And those are the matches announced tonight.
Cool, right on. So yeah, join us around 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern for that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.